you're like a drug sniffing dog.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Like, because you can really get in there and smell all the different smells.
Right.
Of like, this is cocaine, this is heroin, this is all right.
That's exactly right.
It's you should start using that with your middle schoolers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm like a drug sniffing dog.
I'm gonna find you.
Oh my goodness. I think we're live.
Is the ad over?
Yeah.
Okay, we're there.
Yeah,
Cool.
you can't hear it.
I didn't realize how jarring this would be to not be able to hear when the episode actually starts.
Oh, okay.
So for those of you,
I'll share.
no, it's okay. For those of you,
You get that one, I get this. And then then we can eat spaghetti.
like the Lady and the Tramp. That's great.
For those, the noodle and the meatball.
Right. Yeah. For who's the noodles? So for those of you that are listening,
we're sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry. First of all, and second of all, I don't have headphones, which I volunteered to do because we didn't have a third set of headphones because we have a guest today.
Yes.
But what I didn't realize is how jarring that would be as one of the co-hosts to not know at all what was going on with the live recording. So it's a little different to me. But luckily, you know what's going on, Shawn. So that's good. And we have our guest, Mr. Tyler Burton. Hello, Tyler.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey, Tyler.
We're doing good, man.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Are you gonna say anything else?
No.
Okay, Tyler, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay.
Yes. That's a good question.
Sorry, it's our first guest. Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
I don't have much experience podcasting.
Cool.
So
Neither
just
do we.
kind of tell me need to go.
We just wing it.
I'm a school psychologist. A little bit of background. I went to Western Kentucky University.
Nice.
My mom graduated from Bellarmine, so I have a little bit of tie here.
Oh, nice. Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
She was, oddly enough, a special education consultant.
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
So I work in the school systems. I work in one of the counties in Kentucky. I've been working about 7 years now, I think.
Wow, that long?
I think we're wrapping up.
Wait, quick pause.
Yeah.
Western Kentucky is one with the weird mascot, right?
Yeah, the red blob.
The red blob?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, why don't you... The hilltopper.
Hilltopper.
It's a hilltopper. Okay,
Yes.
so it's...
That is.
Is it really just... I know we have more things to get into, but I'm
yeah.
very interested in this. Is it really just the top of a hill? Like, is that...
The mascot?
There's
Yeah.
a red blob.
He is
a
a
red-
red...
No, it's not a red blob on top of a hill. It's
Oh.
just a red blob.
No, it
Okay.
looks like he's shaped like a hill supposedly, but he's kind of like gumdrop shaped.
So the gumdroppers.
The gumdroppers, yeah. His name is Big Red, so they
Like
call
the
him,
drink.
I feel like
right?
that's trademarked.
Well, or the gum,
Oh,
yeah.
didn't know there was a gun. called
No,
the Big Red.
gum.
Oh, I thought you said like the gun.
No.
And I was like, all right, Tyler, let's back it
No,
up a
the
little bit.
gum.
Maybe, maybe let's not talk
The
about
gum.
that.
This is college radio. We
Yes.
gotta be careful. Oh,
That's it.
Yeah.
okay.
He ate my shoe one time.
Really?
We went to a baseball game and he was walking around and he took my shoe and ate it. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you get it back?
no. To this day, I only have one shoe.
It's alarming.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah.
no, sorry. I had to stop on that because
Yeah.
that was the thing I know about Western Kentucky.
It's a
My
great,
mom got her master's there.
Yeah, it's great school.
Yeah.
There's only just a little bit of school psychology lore in the state, I guess. There's really two big programs, Western and UK.
Okay.
So there's not a whole lot of programs around the state, and there's not a whole lot of school psychologists. I didn't even know what a school psychologist was until I got into college.
Really?
So, oh yeah.
So what was the driving force? Like, what about your background was interested in school psychology?
Yeah.
I wanted summers off. No, I'm just.
He's gonna fit in today. Really good.
no.
Yeah, this is
That
great.
sums it up for me too.
That's why. Yeah.
yeah, I need a little bit of break,
Yeah.
But no, it's. I really love psychology, and I actually have some questions for you guys.
Oh wow.
Whoa, that's cool.
But we'll get into that.
Okay, great.
Um,
He's taking over.
I'm not taking over.
He's taking over.
You
I love
know,
it.
have you watched Animaniacs?
I'm familiar, yeah.
As a psychiatrist.
No.
Yes. Dr. Scratch and Sniff.
Yeah.
I just can't stop thinking about pea psychiatry.
What?
Yeah.
What is this?
I don't know that part of Animaniacs.
Oh, that's how they pronounce it.
Oh, with P
His
because
degree.
it's silent. Yeah.
Right.
That's a great, yeah.
Oh,
'Cause the P
that's
is
a funny
silent.
language joke.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good.
I don't know how to spell, so I didn't get the
Right.
joke at first.
Dr. Scratch and Sniff.
What's on your mind?
My hat.
No. Your hat is on your head. What is on your mind?
My skin.
No, that's on your head. What's on your mind?
Oh, I got it. My hair.
Your hair is on your head. This is hair. This is hair. It is not on my mind. It is on my head.
No, it's in your hand.
Dr. Scratch and Sniff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The P psychiatrist.
Yes, the P psychiatrist.
that's funny. I don't know Animaniacs.
It's
Oh, you should.
yeah.
I-
I bet you do.
I'll have to look it up.
Like
Yeah.
first seasons are good, and then after that they get
I've
worse.
seen them before, like heard their names before.
I've heard the name Animaniacs.
The theme
Well, we
song.
did that Acme
with the little
song.
dudes.
Yeah, the
yeah.
theme
Acme
song.
song.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
We did that.
Uh,
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. The I got into psychology because my senior year of high school, I had a teacher who I really loved, and he was like passionate about psychology, and I took that elective. And then I got into college, and they were like, "Well, you need to choose a major," because I was undecided until my sophomore year.
okay.
And I really liked psychology, and figured that I couldn't really do anything with it unless I went to grad school.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do some things, but like I wanted a specific practice. I didn't want to do a clinical setting. I love working with kids, so I just landed in the school system, and it's 3-year program. Western is fantastic. The lead person there, I'm pretty sure, is Dr. Bonas now.
Okay.
She's awesome.
That's awesome. Shout out Dr. Bonas.
Shout out Dr.
Yeah.
Bonas. But yeah, no, I there wasn't anything like I can't diagnose, or that's like the official term. I like, Shawn, how you say like you discovered that you had dyslexia.
Oh, good.
That wording, like I'm a big fan of like finding the right words to things because
We talked about this we over-indexed on that for way too long
Yeah.
last week. And
And
it's,
I still mess up though.
yeah.
well,
yeah.
and it happens. You're-
Well, I've said multiple times on this podcast, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, our learning disability. Because I don't think about it, because that's what was like burned into my brain.
Right.
And then I'm like, no, it's a learning difference, or it's something that you discover, or like all these different nuances to it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
normal brain.
Yeah.
versus
Learning specialty.
yes.
Learning specialty.
neurotypical brain.
Neurotypical, yeah.
But like intention matters,
Yeah.
Like, you guys aren't trying to. You can clearly tell you're not trying to offend anybody. Like
No, we're not trying to.
We're not, we do.
Well,
but we're
it
not
happens.
trying to.
Just just Lucas.
Yeah, really, we're just trying to create the most stress for Lucas as possible. That's why we designed this entire thing, is just to
Yeah.
create as much stress
He's
for
flicking me off.
That's 2 episodes in a row now.
I know.
Wow.
It's
just
gonna
gotta-
be my rule.
It's not very nice.
to make Christy like exit the room
Yeah.
laughing, and to make Lucas flick me off.
Honestly, well, you just got one more to do.
And we
so.
just have to mention the British Empire.
And we,
wow.
What did I tell ya?
See, I
What
feel
did I
like
tell ya?
I know I'm a guest here, but like I feel like I've already known you guys for a while. Like,
that's
that's pretty
see,
crazy.
That's
And it's
awesome.
because you understand our people,
Right.
right? It's you understand
I
our
think so,
people.
yeah.
And it's,
Our people,
dyslexics.
we have a flag.
That's, I felt like
Really?
we do.
Oh yeah, we got a flag.
Yeah, where'd the flag go? We had it up.
It's
before.
hanging up in the hall in the fishbowl.
Oh, okay. Well,
By
we'll
my
have to do a
office.
little side video for
Yeah.
that. Lucas, you can do the edit thing.
There's the other accomplishment. Right there.
And Christy's gone. Okay,
Did she
cool.
leave?
Yeah.
Already gone.
She laughed.
So, funny thing about Christy that you guys might not
She's
know
probably getting a flag.
is that every time that we're recording here, is that Christy is in the background, like editing very important, like dissertation work. And she's always back there doing that while we're talking about all of this. And I think it's just a learned area, That's what we've created.
Yeah,
Just a learning zone. But anyway, yeah.
we're not
I
all stupid.
felt like you looked at me a lot when you I felt like you really stared. We're closer right now, but I still feel like you really stared in my face when
That
you said
seemed-
we're not all stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, but I totally agree
She
with.
got the flag.
Oh, she got the flag.
Oh wow.
Yeah, really like the we kind of try to do this whole thing as discovery,
Mhm.
right? We're trying to learn about dyslexia and other differences and things like that live. And so we go through a lot of it. Are you going to show?
Right.
You want to give it a toss?
Toss
Yeah.
the
Oh my
flag.
God.
Oh man,
Okay, I'm gonna use that as a blanket.
this
Are you
is a
cold?
big flag.
I'm not cold.
Oh, well.
You want to share a blanket?
That is, I mean, that's awesome. Very
pretty cool,
official.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. We used to have it hanging up in, you got to hang it up in a fishbowl now. Or we're just going to,
Yeah.
Just drape that.
You can share.
Okay.
You look very cozy.
Thank you. That's nice.
Like a little married couple on the couch.
We're really close.
Yeah. We've known each other for a while, fortunately or unfortunately. But anyway, yeah, totally agree. Discovery is a huge part of, like, we talked about this a lot in the last episode, that we look at things in a different way. Mm-hmm. We try to get people on our side as well, looking things in a different way.
Right.
And discovery is a really big part of that. Help people, like, discover with you. And that was a lot of the purpose behind this project that we do here, for the TED project that we do as well. It's all centered around discovery. So I like, that you brought that up.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's something like I was talking about, as a school psychologist, we can't diagnose in the schools. Like, what I do.
What does that mean exactly? Like, we can't diagnose.
So I guess I'll give you a little background of what I do. But I don't want to take over. Like, you guys tell me.
No.
Please.
Okay. Because part of my job is, like, explaining evaluation results to parents, and, like, this team, the school team.
Yeah.
So I am very long-winded.
We have a lot of parents that listen. Actually, I'm not joking. Yeah, we have a lot of parents that, like, comment in and they're like, "Hey, I think my kid might be dealing with this."
Well,
so
that's fantastic.
Super helpful. Yeah,
that's
and
fantastic.
We have 10 listeners right now.
Oh yeah, we have 10 active listeners, and Brady's probably one of them. So
no.
Records.
yeah,
is it really?
Yeah, it's a record
we do a lot better on the post
on YouTube.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's where I've seen clips and everything. So yeah, what I do. So I've worked from preschool to 12th grade, senior year of high school.
That's a big range.
It is a big range. And the first, 5 years, I only worked with middle schoolers. I had 3 schools that I was assigned to.
Yeah.
Doing mostly evaluations. So,
I don't like middle schoolers.
It's hard. That is a hard age.
My mom taught middle school her whole career,
They're
and I
tough.
don't understand it.
They're so tough.
I'll give you. I know we like to go on side tangents. Thank you.
Oh, he knows that.
But I'll give
we
you.
do that?
We go on tangents?
What?
I didn't.
I think so a little bit.
No, we stay
That
on.
feels blasphemous,
Sorry.
Tyler. We stay on topic
I've got
constantly.
bullet points.
Yeah, you can see all the papers that we have
Yes.
here.
Yeah, but my very first day of working in a middle school, the first time, I think I was like 24, 25 years old.
Yeah.
I walked into, they call it the EBD classroom, Emotional Behavioral Disability Classroom.
Okay.
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 Not the best, not the friendliest of language.
Sure.
But that was like, the kids who have emotional issues, they have outbursts.
Yep.
So I walk in there, very calm vibe. This was one of my favorite teachers I ever worked with.
I probably would have been in that classroom.
I would have too. Yeah,
sometimes,
definitely.
Sometimes kids are
I
not.
used harsher words when I was in certain classrooms. So
Yeah. The
yeah.
R
No,
word.
yeah, the R word is where I
yeah,
was.
that
Yeah,
was-
I got thrown around a lot.
That's
when I was
like
in
the
elementary school.
barbaric times.
Yeah.
That's where we
You
grew
should
up.
have seen. Yeah, that. I mean, honestly,
And
it
there
was.
Tyrannosaurus Rex and everything.
Yeah. Well, when Shawn was in school during the Teddy Roosevelt administration,
Right.
it was. Sorry.
No.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was in Civil War.
Oh, you're right.
Civil
I'm
War.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they really did use a lot. Like yours, they barely had any terms for, and then me was just derogatory when I was coming through school.
Yeah.
So
We were called the R word.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So was I.
Well, and we can talk about language here in a second, but I'll finish this.
Yeah, please.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
We don't ever go on.
No, never.
Just sorry.
Get rid of this.
The first time,
Get rid of that
it's hot.
blanket.
you're
I'm
taking
tired
your
of
blanket
cuddling
off.
with you.
Yeah. This got too intimate. I am taking my socks off though. I'm a little hot.
But I went to walk in, or I walked in this room because I'm.
Shut up.
I walked in because I needed to take this. I need to take the kid to do some testing.
Yes.
Because I do not the majority. A lot of my job I'm doing.
Is that like
academic?
It's like socially, emotionally. Is there a whole? Because I work with like people all the time. Like that's what I do, and I take them into other rooms. I have to do evaluations. I have to do like performance reviews and stuff like that. Is there a like energy that you try to bring from like a psychology perspective of walking to that kid and taking them out of the room? Because for me as a kid, that was super embarrassing.
Yes.
Like, oh, you're taking me somewhere else. Like, is there it's probably really hard to do that in the right way.
That's something I learned from experience. Like just going along the very first time, I'm scared to death. I don't know, I know what I'm doing, but like I want to get it right. I want to do everything the right way. So I'm like, oh, can I get so-and-so? And then I just, whatever. It's almost like robotic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now
because you're going through a list of things, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now I'm more intentional and I'm like, trying to build rapport. on the way to the classroom, like I'll or when I pick up the student, we're walking in the hall, I usually say, hey, I don't think we've ever met before, but you might have seen me around. I'm Mr. Burton or I'm Mr. Tyler, depending like if it's a preschooler.
Sure.
And what I do is I walk around, I watch teachers teach, I watch students learn. And then I kind of get to work with students to see how your brain works.
That's so cool.
And
that's such a great way to put it.
We get to do some fun activities because we use an iPad to do things now.
Nice.
Revolutionary.
For sure.
But and kids like that, and I'm like, we get to do some brain games, and we get to hang out a little bit together. And usually they're okay. Middle school, you have to phrase a little different. And some kids just don't want to come with you. So it's and more than likely in middle school or high school, they've done this before.
Yeah.
They've been pulled. They understand.
They've been called out. They've been put into a different zone. They've been in a different classroom.
But the very first time I walked into the room to get a student, I walked in and a kid just turned around, pointed at me and goes, "Short." And I was like, what? And he goes, "You're short." And I was like, I don't even know who you are. Like, what is going on?
You know what's really funny? So I have a list of relatively.
Are you short?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not tall.
I mean, you're sitting down. So
I
didn't see you stand up.
I'm not tall either.
I'd say
it's really funny is I have a list of relatively serious questions here, just just as side questions for you. But one of them to break the seriousness of the questions was, how tall are you?
How tall am I?
So it's so funny that you say that someone made fun of you because I'm a short guy too.
Well, I mean,
there's just
are you taller than my wife?
Maybe. I'm about 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah.
Ish.
That's the average height.
Yeah,
that's
relatively average.
That's
so that's middle schoolers punk. That's what I'm learning.
The thing is, I think most
you're
of my
taller than I am. I think.
Yeah.
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 I think 5'10" is I feel like that's more of the average. That's the acceptable average.
Sure. Yeah, I totally agree.
I think the average height for a human is 5'8".
Is it?
The global average. Yeah, so you're fine.
Thank you.
You're globally average.
My friends put me down, so.
Yeah.
Man, that's not cool.
No.
And middle schoolers, apparently. So anyway, he says.
No, last time I went to the doctor.
You said, no, don't change it back.
They were like, you're 5'9" and 3/4.
Oh.
Like platform 9 3/4 from Harry Potter.
Love it.
That's what they said. And I was like, oh, I'm shrinking now.
What?
Oh, no.
Yeah, that happens when you get old. You shrink.
Were you doing this, though? Were you when they measured you, were you like...
No, I think I have pretty good posture. I mean, I go to the chiropractor and everything.
I think another thing about the British Empire, I think that you talk about the chiropractor almost every episode as much as we do. Yeah, you talk about the chiropractor a lot.
Well, it's important.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, for sure.
Some people swear by the chiropractor.
They really do.
Yeah.
No, you got to get cracked. You've got to. It's important.
Now, if his chiropractor happened to be British, I mean,
then we're rocking and rolling.
No,
we're rocking and rolling.
She's not British.
So you go in this classroom, middle schooler makes fun of you for being short.
That was my first experience.
That's hilarious.
Middle school is tough. That's a tough age. They're learning how to interact in the world.
Be human.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also,
it's a tough thing to learn.
Very smelly.
Sure.
In general, the
They're
hallway.
smelly?
Oh my gosh.
They smell terrible.
That's bad.
They?
Yeah, it's a really bad hallway smell, especially when it's
and then you got
after
the
recess.
Axe body spray and stuff like that.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not enjoyable, not a pleasant smell.
Sure.
But yeah, so I do evaluations. That's the main part. So I'll do evaluations, and the big thing is kind of determining which students need specially designed instruction to be successful.
And are you then, and don't let me get ahead, but are you then designing that specially designed, or is there just all kinds of it's like a menu of things you could pick and choose from?
So that's a great question.
Thank you.
There's a lot of different eligibility categories in the school. Okay.
Eligibility meaning
for special ed, special
Right.
education services, which
Yep.
is specially designed instruction.
Okay.
I don't really like to say special ed. I don't, I
Sure.
feel like I try to keep up with the slang,
Yeah.
And I've
What is
heard
the slang now?
Well, people just say sped, you're sped.
Oh.
The R word.
Yeah.
Growing up, people say, oh, he's, the R word, whatever.
Sure.
That's the new thing is oh, he's sped. But
Interesting.
and language all.
I like to be sped.
I would rather be sped.
Yeah.
I want that on my shirt.
Honestly, what's interesting
Sped.
though is we get into vocabulary a little bit. I was always and maybe I was just so not self-aware, and I don't know if you're this way too. When the R word wasn't used and I was just called special, I really believed that I was special. Like I really believed
You
that
are
like
special.
Yeah.
You are.
but like just breaks down crying.
Mr. Rogers said you're special.
Right. That's but
I
like
did not say that. Okay.
but like when
What? He
My
did.
last name's Rogers.
Oh,
oh well you're not the Mr. Rogers.
not
the Mr. Rogers. But anyway,
But
like
you-
when
but you are related, so we'll give you that.
when I would be in like class and I would get pulled out and be like, "Oh, you're special," I'd be like, "Oh, I'm like special, like I'm important." And I don't know if that was like my mom being in the school system and stuff, but I felt, like I felt empowered by that falsehood, if that makes sense. Like they were saying you're special, they meant that you're behind and you're not. You're behind academically and you're not doing some of the right stuff, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, I was being patronized, but it worked for me because I was not aware of it.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Like
Yes.
it still, I think, helped my confidence as a kid, even though it wasn't.
And I think that's the point, really.
Sure.
I mean, because you don't. I think a lot of people struggle with language. Period.
Yep.
And like over the years, if you go back and look over 100 years ago, the actual terminology for like an intellectual disability today was idiot. Like it developed
That's
from
interesting. I didn't
idiot
realize that.
to moron to mentally,
Sure. Yep.
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
'cause I don't want to do
fine.
it. But
yep.
but that's the thing is like, and now it's intellectual disability is what it is now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think anybody's going to call somebody, that
Yeah.
like in a derogatory way. Cause it's
Well, and
not,
that word just meant like slow, right? That's where the word came from.
it's,
So,
I think
yeah.
it's more to do. Yeah. Like when you do an IQ test or a cognitive assessment,
Sure.
like you are in that low range.
Yep.
Like there's a mild mental disability and then there's a functional mental disability that's even below that.
So are you still doing, and again, I don't want to get ahead of where you are, but are you still doing IQ tests?
Oh,
then?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. That's one of the main ways.
Because that's what I did in high school. I would do a ton of those in high school.
to kind of bring it together to, I'll talk about dyslexia, obviously.
Yeah, sure. Well,
But,
sometimes
like,
we do.
Sometimes we do.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But like one of the main categories, I think it's been a very hot topic, especially in the state of Kentucky. It's called a specific learning disability.
Okay.
That is an eligibility category in the school that you don't have to have a diagnosis to qualify for.
Really?
No. And they don't call it dyslexia, but like I don't know if it's more often than not, but like a lot of the times the students who have dyslexia, that's the category that they qualify for. A specific learning disability in reading or a specific learning disability in writing or math.
I'm sorry, and they don't have to do anything to get that.
They don't have to have a diagnosis.
Okay.
So what I do,
My mom used to talk about this, so she retired recently, but my mom used to talk about like all of a sudden everybody was just becoming dyslexic or whatever. Okay, and that makes
and
sense
you can have like accommodations and stuff.
Sure.
My big job or my big thing.
But accommodations will come with that. Even though it's a non-diagnosed, you can still get accommodations for it.
If you have an IEP, yes.
Right, if you have an IEP. Yeah.
Or you can have a 504 plan, but you have to have a diagnosis to have a 504 plan.
But you don't have to have a diagnosis to have an IEP.
Correct.
See, that...
And the 504 plan is saying, well, you don't need to be taught a different way. You don't need specially designed instruction. You might have ADHD or you need some breaks.
Sure.
You don't... I mean, that's not teaching you anything.
Right.
You need extra time on stuff. Well, that's not taught. You just get that accommodation.
Yeah.
So sometimes students don't need specially designed instruction. They don't need to be taught in a different way to try to close that gap, with when they're compared to other students their age. They just need some accommodation. Sometimes they do need it, and that's where
and sometimes
that's what
they need
we're trying to
both, I
figure
would
out.
imagine.
Sometimes they need both.
Now, do you think that's okay for certain students to be able to get accommodations without any like in-depth?
Mm-hmm.
Like they just can get extra time and they can get stuff like that?
100%. 100%. And I like that's my whole thing is like I'm not in the business of like qualifying students for special education services.
Sure.
I'm in the business of helping a student be as successful as possible and figuring
That's
out
fair.
like where do they really need this specially designed instruction? Do they really need this to be successful? Because we don't want to put a stigma. We don't want to label anybody.
how do you then? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be taking over.
Take over.
How do you?
You always take over.
How do you then make a? How do you then make a determination between? And this, I don't. And maybe I'm going to say this the wrong way, but how do you make a determination between this kid or student isn't putting enough effort in?
Oh yeah.
Versus okay, you know what I'm talking about.
That's a great.
That's my gripe
question.
A little bit.
It's our gripe.
It's our gripe
because we feel like a lot of people say they're dyslexic.
So they get extra time, and then it's like, well, really, they just weren't. And they
weren't trying.
That's a complicated. That's a complicated argument.
I don't want to offend anybody.
No, but it is a thing.
Yeah.
But so how do you make
that's the
that
whole thing? Is it a can't do or is it a won't do? You know,
right?
Can they not do it or just are they choosing not to?
Right.
The standardized test that I do is one-on-one. You have to be taught how to do it, and most of the time, like I can tell, like one-on-one if they're actually giving effort.
Yeah.
In the classroom, we can set up some things like some behavioral interventions, like, all right, you know, Johnny, if you complete this many assessments or this many questions, you earn a sticker, or like you earn this. Like
I used to get that. Yeah.
You got stickers?
Well, I didn't get stickers,
but
they would try to encourage me with stickers. Man. I actually don't like things being stuck to me. It's a real tactile thing for me. Yeah. So I was never really like.
I'll bring stickers.
No, please don't. I was.
I'm gonna put them all over your head.
Well, that's how
that would be great.
So I wasn't motivated by stickers. But anyway, that was the thing for sure.
But
I don't. I'm trying to make it clear to you. Like I don't want any. I don't want any stickers.
Okay. That means you're gonna get.
I know. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Okay. But so yeah, we've talked about this several times on the podcast where it's like, how do you differentiate?
In the classroom, it can be hard because maybe the kid is bored, maybe they don't like the topic, you know, and sometimes you see that, like, you know, well, they failed this, but they got an A on this. Like, what's the deal? Well, maybe they were just bored. Maybe they weren't paying attention.
Yep.
You know, if you can get them to pay attention fully.
Maybe they weren't taking good notes. Maybe they're not making
Exactly. So when we do the standardized assessment.
Maybe they were asleep.
Maybe they were asleep. You never know. Maybe
I slept a lot.
Maybe they had stickers on their eyes that looked like eyes,
and they couldn't see.
Yeah, because I was playing a band all night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and there's another piece to it too, where like maybe your parents kept you up all night.
That's a big part. Yeah,
and I hear the sleeping is a huge problem. Like with children, is they can just. My mom always said like, if you can just give me a kid with a full night's sleep, I can do anything.
I believe it.
You can't give me a kid with a full
your mom being a
night's
teacher,
sleep.
she knows.
Yeah.
Like, she knows. Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, that's the...
I think that was designed by the British Empire. No joke.
Yeah?
Could have been. That sounds British.
I don't know.
Maslow.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah.
Italian to me.
One of the big...
What do you think, Christy?
Christy says no. She's going to fact check us.
She's like,
But no, one of the major things we have to do is do an IQ test and do academic assessment and compare that. So in the school setting, if there's a large discrepancy, it's very technical. You have to get on the Kentucky Department of Education website.
Okay.
American, homie.
He's American.
Oh, he's American.
He's American.
Well, I mean...
He's from Brooklyn.
Oh.
He's from Brooklyn. Oh,
Right.
very American.
Don't mess with Maslow.
Don't mess with Maslow.
No, I'm just saying...
That was a stereotype. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
A lot of Europeans, I don't know if you know that, moved to America and took land away from the people.
We don't have to get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a deep conversation
Jacob's
there.
like, stop.
Yeah.
You have roughly less than a minute of
until commercial.
Oh, I thought you were like,
oh.
You're getting
those
political.
are different. Those are different motions. You got to learn the motions, Shawn.
Even I knew that was not what that meant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can kind of...
Yeah, we'll pick it up after.
We're
going to have like 15-second commercial break here in a second, and then you'll hear it. I won't hear it, but you'll hear it on your headphones.
You won't hear it?
When it kicks back in.
No. You want to hear it?
No, I don't want to hear it. I'm fine.
Why don't you want to hear it?
I know. What's wrong with you? You can make
play with
do
the
that
fidget.
the whole time.
Yeah, the whole commercial
Yes,
break.
do that.
You are listening to Dyslexics Untied. Tune in every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. at BellarminRadio.com. That is BellarminRadio.com. Listen to us again on Fridays on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube for a special video edition. Now, on with the show.
So are we back?
Was it Shakir when he got here? He was, where was he from? Like,
Who's Shakir?
He's Kurdish.
Who's
Oh.
Shakir?
From Iraq.
He
Wow.
migrated here, and he landed in Chicago. And he's like, I'm going to Louisville, Kentucky.
yeah.
And they're like, no.
No.
No,
you're not.
you're not going to go there if that's what you're saying.
It's Vietlanda.
Vietlanda there. I told you.
I wanted to bring that
I
up.
told
I
you.
wanted to do an IKEA thing or something like.
Ikea.
Yeah, IKEA.
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 Very important.
God, that's
IKEA.
great.
Yeah, this is really dyslexic news.
Yeah. So you go on. You have to go
So yeah,
on the
no,
website.
no. This is one of the main things, and it's very like I think this is a big like it's not known. Like people just don't really realize what goes into like eligibility and
Sure.
qualification, whatever. So we have to use specific IQ tests, and you have to pair them with specific academic tests, and look on these tables online that they've done all these analyses. It's very technical, whatever. I don't understand it, but that's what we have to do. And say your IQ is a 95. So like my big spiel is 85 to 115 is the average range. That's the bell curve. So majority of people is going to be in that average range. Say your IQ is 95. You go on the table, you look it up. Their basic reading skills have to be like a 70 or below or something
Got
like
it.
that. I don't know what the number is exactly, but because it's different for each test.
Got it.
Very technical. Okay?
Yeah.
So if there's a severe discrepancy as laid out by those tables,
Are the tables? Who are the tables being designed by?
I'm not exactly sure. I know it's like a professor at U of L did some. It's a bunch of different people. It's a bunch of different
Okay.
people.
Cool. Yeah.
Like school
Nice.
psychologists,
It's like-
educators,
Sure.
like yeah.
It's like crowdsourced in a way from
Yes.
different, or it's a different word.
But
for
they're not
academia,
updating. They're
but-
not updating the tables anymore because we're going away from the discrepancy model.
Oh.
Okay.
It's like a big thing.
Oh,
I'm telling you.
interesting.
We don't have to go into it. It's
We
very-
can, yeah.
I told you I don't want this to be boring.
No,
so-
it's not. I don't think it's boring.
I don't know.
But yeah,
Said I don't know.
I don't know. I don't care.
when we start talking about this kind of stuff, it can get a little.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm academic. Like I
Right.
read boring
Yeah.
papers all the time.
Yeah.
exactly.
And write them.
I write boring papers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've written many boring papers.
Same. That's what I write evaluations. I don't think anybody reads them. I think I'm really the only one that's reading them. So
Probably unfortunate.
it happens.
Yeah.
But no, you have to compare them. If it says, "Yep, there's a severe discrepancy here," big gap between your IQ and your reading score, you have the possibility to qualify for a specific learning disability in reading or a specific, at that
And
same
it's been
time.
like that for a while.
we have to triangulate data. So you can't just go off of one thing.
That's good.
One test. So we're also doing interventions. So like you might be pulled to do a small group how to learn differently in reading.
Yeah. Okay.
So like Orton Gillingham, that's like a program that helps you know
that one?
Mm-mm.
You ever heard of Orton Gillingham?
I used.
I think I have some here.
I was thinking about you too. Nice.
Orton is a weird name.
Yeah.
The Barton reading and spelling
Oh, you know
system.
That's what I did. I
Yeah.
did the Burton program.
No kidding.
I was one of the first. I was the first kid in the state of Kentucky to do the Burton reading
Yeah.
program.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Did you get like a trophy?
I wish I did.
You should get a sticker.
I should get a sticker.
sticker.
But I had to sit in a room. It was really expensive at the time, I remember. And I had to sit in a room, like basically instead of going to school, I was just doing the
Yeah.
Barton reading program. And I was up. It was funny because they did it in the principal's office. So I was like
Oh,
up
no.
in the front office of the school.
So you felt powerful.
Yeah, I was doing the Barton. Well, I've always felt powerful.
No.
Yeah.
But
Every
yeah.
time I was in the principal's office.
It wasn't good.
It was not good.
No.
Yeah.
No, I was in there.
Shawn was a troublemaker.
I was in there a
not.
lot.
Yeah, but you were cool though, and I wasn't.
I
cool.
don't know if I was cool.
You were cool. You
You
were
sound,
in a band.
I feel like
surfer.
if you're in a band, you dropped out, right?
Yep. Dropped out multiple
times. That's
Yep.
that's the coolest.
That's the cool kid.
If I did
You
that, that would
surfed?
be the coolest thing I ever did. So,
I got arrested in high school.
Right.
whoa.
Yeah.
See?
You can't just say that and not give us the story.
Yeah.
Unless the story is inappropriate.
Yeah. So,
Well, it's illegal.
Oh, it's true. It is illegal.
well, no, I
No?
didn't break. I don't think I broke the law.
Oh.
And I didn't get charged.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
But my roommate wanted me to pawn something, and it turned out to be stolen.
oh wow.
And they came to my high school and arrested me.
What?
Yeah.
This is in Miami?
No, this is Atlanta.
Oh, it's in Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, why? What do you
What?
do? What? And they took me to the principal's office.
Where I was
They had
doing
me
the
in
Barton
cuffs
program.
through the hall. And I was like, man, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to take me to jail.
You said that you
Like-
had cuffs in the hall?
Yeah.
That
They
is
cuffed me.
awesome.
That's hardcore.
Yeah.
You were the coolest kid when you came back then. You're the coolest kid.
Yeah, no, they had me in cuffs, and I talked my way out of going to jail because it was like I didn't know
That's dyslexic
it was
right
stolen.
there. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Of course you
Just
didn't.
my roommate had a camera and wanted me to pawn it,
Yeah.
and
Not friends with that roommate then anymore.
No.
are you? Yeah, that
no,
burned
he
that
stole
bridge.
a lot from me. Actually,
Oh, that sucks.
Man.
yeah,
What was your roommate's reaction to the story?
he didn't care.
That sucks.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a bad roommate,
Sounds like it.
so I
Yeah.
had to kill him.
and then I did go to jail.
And I talked my way out of that.
And
too.
I talked me out of that, and so now I'm here. That's why I ended up in Louisville.
Oh, he was a check. Yeah.
Yeah.
His origin story.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Bellarmine.
Oh yeah.
That's funny. So,
Wow.
so I guess we have to do this. Where does specific dyslexia line?
Yeah.
into
Where
this
does
for
where
you?
specific? So
And like we've always called it on here, or I have relatively derogatorily, but like the trash can of like disabilities. Like you can have all this stuff, and people are like shoving it and saying this is dyslexia. Does that make sense? Like there's
Yeah.
all this different stuff you can have. There's all this different stuff you can have problems with,
We-
and they just take it
like
and
dyspraxia.
dyspraxia,
things like
dysgraphia, and all this
dysgraphia,
stuff,
yeah.
and you can just throw it into one category. And that could be wrong, but that's the way
No,
that I look at it.
I feel like what's hot in the streets right now is just ADHD. Like I feel like
Okay.
everybody's getting ADHD. I can't focus. Processing speed's too slow. I don't know the cause behind it. My opinion probably has something to do with phones and technology and all this other kind
Sure.
of stuff at a young age. But dyslexia, like if somebody has an outside evaluation, like somebody goes to, I think it's like I'm not going to name places because I don't want to. I'm not going to name places, but
Yeah,
they get outside evaluated.
We're
They
not gonna
come
get
in.
political here.
Okay, yeah. I just don't want to badmouth anybody.
Yeah.
But they might say like, oh yeah, my son or my daughter has dyslexia, and they bring it to the school. We have to say, well, we can't just give you guys services. We have to show that there's some sort of impact academically.
Well, that's good.
So we have to do these interventions. We have to do observations. We have to get teacher input. We have to track data. I mean, we're graphing all kinds of stuff, and you have to triangulate. Do the testing. And if it comes back, there's an adverse impact, then we do special education services that have modifications. You can get shorter assignments just so you can show, on these 5 problems, I know how to do it instead of doing 15 problems.
Oh, that's cool.
Highlight text, like accommodations, you can get a teacher to highlight you text.
I used to get these little cover sheets that were colored, and they would cover the entire paper, and it would like help me.
Yes.
I never understood why, but it would
Yep.
like help me focus
Yep.
on what I was reading.
Yeah, because you can, I see it a lot, like students will, the jumbled letters, like
Yep,
when they
yep.
read or, when they write, their B's are backwards or,
Yep.
Vice versa.
Oh, we had to do the big sheet where it's a lowercase b and a lowercase d,
Mhm.
and you'd have to just
I
identify.
hated that.
You'd have to just identify the b's,
Yeah.
and it was the worst thing in the world. If someone had me do that right now, it'd be
Yeah.
And then P and Q.
P and
yeah,
Q.
p and q and all
Just
that.
like
Yeah. So
I
yeah.
could not mind my p's and q's.
And
No.
as far as like
or dot your eyes.
Yeah, or cross my
cross
t's.
the T's, yeah. As far as like what it means to triangulate data.
Yep.
Try meaning what?
Angulate.
3? Try
Yeah.
3?
Oh,
It's a
Yeah.
magic number.
Yes, it's a magic number. So
At least 3.
at least
Can't be
3.
more.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So we have to have like 3 sources. So like say the academic interventions aren't working. Say
I
the,
get what he was doing.
the
now. You were
observations the observations, yes.
behind the 8 ball. Yeah, I get it.
Show like, oh, they're behind in reading. They're just mouthing the words. They're not really reading along with the students. They're just trying to.
Oh,
and I
did that.
I take pride. I know in seeing, like, I take pride in doing those observations and seeing the kids who struggle with that, but
Yeah.
don't want to be seen. Like
Yeah, for sure.
so we have to find at least 3 or more evidence, of there being a disability.
Yeah.
So that's when I say triangulation of data. That's just like a fancy term.
That's really cool. I've never even thought about it that way.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I'm glad that we're pulling multiple data points to try to get
oh,
these
you have
IEPs
to.
and things.
Yeah. But absolutely, some students have dyslexia and they don't need specially designed instruction. They just need a little extra time with reading.
Oh yeah.
I
that
was
me.
yeah. My mom would not let them give me other accommodations, even though I could get like every accommodation under the sun. She was just like, I want him to have more time, and that's it.
Well,
yeah,
that's good because you don't want to. You want to be pushed, you know.
Yeah, that's gotta. Is that hard to balance?
100%.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Well, that's why they call it like IEPs. That's an individualized education plan. It needs to be different for everybody.
And that's gotta be. I would have such a hard time balancing between accommodations and just effort.
Yeah.
Like, no, you need to put in more effort. Oh, you need a little bit of help. Oh, you need to put in more effort. You know, like, how do you? You're like, yeah, that's my whole job. That's my whole job. It's very hard.
That's something we get frustrated with.
Yes.
Like, you're with people who have dyslexia.
Yep.
But it's like, no,
you don't really. You just wanted to have more. You wanted to have more accommodations.
I can smell a dyslexic person.
100%.
Yeah. And it's like,
we said that a lot. You smell dyslexia.
Yeah.
You can't.
They got this aura just steaming off of them.
It's the thing that we were talking about with the joke that you guys were talking about from the last episode, where it's like, I could see where Shawn was going with what he was talking about.
Right.
And then people that are neurotypical or whatever it is, they can connect in ways too. I'm not saying that like other people don't have connections there. It's just there is a smell to it. And what you're doing is you're just like a drug sniffing dog.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Like, because you can really get in there and smell all the different smells.
Right.
Of like, this is cocaine, this is heroin, this is all right.
That's exactly right.
It's you should start using that with your middle schoolers. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm like a drug sniffing dog.
I'm gonna find you.
I got tagged by a dog at the airport.
No way.
Yeah.
What'd you have?
Again, tell us a story.
I was coming back to America.
Okay, from Sweden?
Probably, or Germany or something. And I was in the airport, and a beagle came up and just, like, tagged my bag.
I would start sweating.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. I was like, hey, what's up?
Hey,
buddy.
Hey, buddy. This is not a big deal, right?
Before or after 2001?
I don't know. I'm dyslexic, man. I don't know.
We don't.
I was 10 years old.
Okay.
Oh.
That's it. So running joke for me. And I don't know if you run into this with other students that are dyslexic. We have really bad concepts of time. Like, if I'm going to tell a story of like my childhood, you're like, that's just you, man. If I'm going to tell a story of my childhood, I'm just going to be like, I was 10. Like, I have no idea. Like, I don't have memories of like, I'm sitting there, I was 5. I'm sitting there, I was 3. I'm sitting there, I was 6.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I was 10.
I feel like I'm like that, but my 20s.
Really?
I just had.
You're
no
just
idea.
like, it was one of those ages.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
20s were rough on me too.
Yeah. I just don't remember.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
No. So it was a fruit leather in my bag.
Oh, okay.
And so it was looking for fruit. That
Whoa.
dog was looking for fruit.
Got a good nose. Beagles do have good nose. Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, take my bag. I mean, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't have anything. Yeah.
I don't know. And they opened it up, and they're like, oh, the fruit leather that you have here
Interesting.
triggered the dog.
You're like, thank
Because
God.
it was looking for fruit being brought in from
Wow.
Europe. You can't do that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did
no.
they take your
I
fruit?
had no idea.
No, they said I could keep my fruit leather.
That's good. You
It
probably
was wrapped.
You probably convinced them to do that too.
Yes, I
is
did.
what I would get.
I sweet talked them into
Sweet
it.
talked into giving your fruit
I'm
leather.
like, please, sir, don't take my fruit
take my
leather.
Are you quoting freaking Annie, the musical? Please, sir, may I have some more?
No,
Yeah.
I was quoting Thor.
Is that from Annie?
No, it's not.
Isn't it Oliver Twist?
Oliver Twist?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I was thinking of Thor.
Well, they're both
He's about to get
homeless
his hair
British
cut.
people.
He's
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
please, sir, don't cut my hair.
By Odin's beard, you shall not cut my hair, lest you feel the wrath of the mighty Thor. Please, kind sir, do not cut my hair. No!
Thor Ragnarok.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's the scene.
That was a good
And
one.
he gets a, yeah,
We go over the place. Annie, Thor Ragnarok, Oliver Twist.
yeah.
All over
Great
the place.
That's a very sporadic listing of different genres.
It is. That's what I'm saying. We go all over the place.
Here's a,
Charles Dickens is British. Sorry.
yeah. Here,
Oh, we
Charles
got
Dickens
British.
is very British.
here's a segue for you guys because I want to ask a question.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, please.
We read Oliver Twist in high school from one of my favorite teachers. Who were your favorite teachers growing up and why?
Ooh, that's a
Oh.
good question.
Specifically,
Well, you
why?
have yours for sure.
Yeah, Miss Neidlinger?
Yeah.
Was that the vice principal that you talked about?
No, that's Ferguson.
Okay.
Neidlinger was the one who So I was, what do they call it, unhoused
Yes, sure.
in high school?
Homeless.
And that's not the word anymore.
I know, but I don't
It's
understand
unhoused.
why though. I just
Well, it's because we're talking to Gen Zs.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
You have to
Unhoused.
You have
Sure.
to be, accommodating.
Yeah.
It's important.
really coming down on me over here.
Well,
Anyway, your favorite teacher.
yeah, Ferguson wasn't my teacher. She was the principal that made me ask
Come
me
back.
to finish.
Yep.
But
yep.
Neidlinger was the one who I think spotted my dyslexia, but there was no term for it
Right.
at the time.
Yeah.
But she really worked with me, and she's like, did all the paperwork so I could get a free breakfast and a free lunch,
Yep.
Yeah.
And I worked at a restaurant at night, so I got dinner. But she was really influential, Miss Neidlinger.
Okay. Before we go on for
I think
that,
she
I
was
want to
an
hear
English
yours.
teacher.
Okay, so mine was, I had tons, but one of mine, her name was Miss Ward, and she did, I think she was the one that did, Miss Sharp and Miss Ward, they both did the Burton reading program with me.
Okay.
I think Miss Ward was the one that first did the Burton program with me, and then Miss Sharp did just experimental everything. Like, because they were just throwing stuff at the wall.
Okay.
Right? And they were trying to figure it out. Like, they did, I did a bunch of vision therapy. Like, that was a big
Yeah.
part of my dyslexic
Yeah.
learning was vision therapy. I don't know if they do that anymore.
They
but
do.
That was incredibly impactful of just like, I don't even know the right terminology, but just like getting my brain lined up.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like the people that stuck their necks out and were like, this kid isn't stupid.
Yeah.
And that was like, you need somebody to like reach up and do that. And then Shawn did that for me in college. So like anybody that stuck their neck out was definitely very
So,
impactful.
and you guys literally, it's crazy. I didn't think this would work. Literally just proved my point with it's about relationships.
Yeah.
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 It's about relationships because you guys didn't really, you said they helped you with like the Barton program.
Oh,
and
sure.
stuff,
Yeah.
but like, you're like, I think they taught English, but it's like, the teachers that are most impactful are the ones that you connect with and that show a genuine care for you.
Yep.
It's not necessarily that they teach you the most. I've learned so much from teachers that I hated.
Yeah.
And I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, they taught me how to do this.
Yep.
I didn't enjoy it, but like, my favorite teachers are the ones that make me feel good or they stick up for me or whatever. And I think that's a big part of just luck of the draw, which is kind of
Talk about that a lot.
It's not fun to think about, but like, the quality of teacher is kind of like, year to year, you don't know. You could have a terrible kindergarten year and have a great first grade year.
Yep.
And it just, setting that up so young, like, oh man, I hate school. But then you meet a teacher you like and you're like, oh, I love coming to school.
Can you consider that in your evaluations of like, well, they had this teacher and they're not, and again, not to get into details on your system, but like,
Oh yeah.
that you can be like, well, that teacher's not really that good at that. So
You got to take in those variables. Like you
Okay.
got to.
Yeah.
And say,
I'm assuming you have to keep things then just like really private.
yeah.
Because especially within the school system.
Well,
you
there's
gotta-
there's like HIPAA, like, you have FERPA in school. Like,
okay. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
FERPA,
I can't tell you what, there's a lot of
way-
acronyms. I can't tell
Education
you.
Rights and Privacy Act.
Boom.
Boom.
There you go.
Put that across the screen right here.
Yeah.
FERPA.
So there are certain
It's like
rules.
a type
And
of a European shoe.
it does.
Sounds like a Swedish song.
I was thinking
Swedish.
Yeah,
FERPA, 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 FERPA. Sounds like something I would like drink large amounts of beer to.
No, then that would be more Austrian. I would
Okay,
say.
Austrian,
Oh,
Dutch,
Austrian, yeah.
Austrian, yeah.
Yeah.
FERPA, 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 FERPA. It's like that.
I'm speechless. Like
I'm leaning Switzerland now.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Do you want to do a
Wait,
Swiss?
I don't know that I could.
Swiss?
I would have to have the
You
what's
have
it
to have
called?
what is it called? The clothes?
Leader?
Lederhosen.
Lederhosen.
Which is
Lederhosen.
like leather pants is I think.
And they have like it's like a leather overall set.
Yeah,
essentially.
and I was like, I when I went and I saw people wearing it, I was like, oh, is there a festival? And they're like, no.
No,
people
this
Oh,
is
they
what I
actually
wear.
wear
they
it.
actually wear it.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they wear lederhosen
And they sing the FERPA song.
and for
So and
FERPA, FERPA.
you're like a lot about Germany and German culture, correct?
I'm 65% German, so
Okay.
I know
And you
the-
speak German.
A little bit.
I took
Ich
German.
spreche nur ein bisschen Deutsch.
I don't know. I'm on the spot right now. I usually have like
some phrase.
some phrase, because I didn't have to, but I took German in college for 2 semesters. Me and Brady did.
Oh, nice.
Brady, yeah. But our German teacher taught us the one thing that I remember from the class.
Scheiße.
No, I had to think about that for a second. I was like, no. He taught us when you drink out of a stein, a lot of people don't get it right. They get it wrong because they hold the handle. And he said, you want to act like you're shaking hands with it. You want to put your hand through the hole
and hold the
mug because you won't spill it as much. If you hold the handle, it's like your wrist can get,
Interesting.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
Beer drinking tips from Tyler, guys.
Beer drinking.
Yeah,
it's important.
Ich weiß es nicht.
Stop talking in German.
I don't know. I wish I could give a German word.
But yeah, I think
Kugelschreiben. I think that means pen.
Pen, yeah.
Boom.
You got it.
There you go. You got it. You got there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think relationships with teachers is probably the thing that got me where I was, and then obviously got Shawn in and out of academia and over again, and he couldn't escape, and then got a doctorate degree. So got really into academia. And I think that you wouldn't have been able to do that without relationships, and that a lot of your students wouldn't be able to do what they've done without their relationship with you. So
yeah,
totally agree.
No, yeah. I think for me, like high school, that was the struggle.
Yeah.
And I went to like 11 different schools before I graduated.
And that's a huge thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, consistency.
Around.
Yeah.
So I always had different teachers.
I see that a lot with like the military kids that'll bounce from school to school. Like,
it's hard.
Yeah, I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Back in the 70s and 80s,
I'm sure
it was a different culture, like with bullying and things like that. I was like, who am I gonna have to fight?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and that's
crazy.
The bouncing from school to school. Another huge part of qualifying students is the amount of absences. If they haven't even been in school to receive that instruction, how can we rule out, they might be able to learn that instruction if they were here. They might be able to learn how to read if they were here for, more than 90% of their academic career. So you have to take into account how many days they've missed of school too.
So how many would you be able to calculate how many dyslexic students you're seeing in the school system?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a category I can look up somewhere for that.
Or is it even are you dyslexic and ADHD and blah blah blah? Are you? I don't mean blah 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 to disrespect the other, but just
that's very disrespectful.
Blah blah blah.
Are you blah blah blah?
Yeah, I was offended.
Okay, I'm sorry, Shawn. I'm really sorry.
I don't know.
You're very sensitive.
I do think there's
to
probably
those kind of things.
There's probably some students who qualify and say oh, their primary disability is ADHD.
Got it.
Which would go under the other health impairment category.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can
so it's
also
an impairment.
Other health impairment. You can have ADHD, anxiety, depression, diabetes, physical stuff too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have diabetes.
That's good.
That's good.
You do have dyslexia.
Everything else.
I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah. Just name it off. But yeah, I think we don't know. I don't think we know how many dyslexic people there are in the school system, because sometimes this disability is the primary one, or the one that we want to focus on the most.
Sure. Are you looking at it differently now than even you did when you started, dyslexia?
Oh, okay. Yeah. And a lot of the times, kind of like what you were saying, you can sniff it out. Sometimes I think, well, this student, it doesn't necessarily, when I look at outside evaluations that have diagnosed or they've discovered, okay, this person has dyslexia, I don't necessarily see it.
Sure.
But that's not to say, they were improperly diagnosed or whatever. It's just in the school system, I'm not seeing this. I'm not getting that.
Are you specifically looking for dyslexic related traits in a student? Are you looking for any positive things?
Oh yeah. Well, that's the main thing. The specific learning disability, if you have a specific learning disability, it's probably going to be in either reading or writing or math. If it's you have strengths in math and super weaknesses in reading, well, that makes sense, because that's a specific learning, disability.
Got it.
So if it's ADHD, if they are super inattentive in every content area, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if they're super inattentive only whenever they get presented math, well, maybe they have a math learning disability in math,
Sure.
you know?
Sure.
So it just kind of depends. We're looking at, I'm trying to observe like all kinds of stuff.
That's got to be because like a drug sniffing dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like detective, but
Sure.
drug sniffing dog
I think we're going to
works.
title the episode "Drug Sniffing Dog," so I'm really excited for that
And
to
have a
probably
beagle.
happen. And have a
And
beagle,
have a
as
beagle,
the
yes.
picture.
Beagle.
Would that be cool?
Beagle
Yeah.
with little backpack.
If I sent you a picture of a beagle with a backpack, could you make that
I
happen?
have a beagle.
Could you put a
Put a
back? Could you
backpack
put a
on it.
backpack on him?
Put it into Chat GPT.
Yeah.
That'll generate it.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Use A1 sauce.
Chatty.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I can't believe you waited until the very end.
Yeah,
jeez.
I'm so glad we have A1 back in school.
Yeah, it's
A1,
important.
you got
it's
to.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to have A1 back in school.
Well, I mean, you know,
We can't get political though, so we
You're
have to
right.
be careful.
Any other thoughts for us, or any other things you wanted to share about just your career, or thoughts on dyslexia or learning differences in general? I did have. If
Yeah.
you don't, then I have one thought.
yeah, you go.
So, is there like a lot of innovation happening in this space? So the space of like looking at like learning, if you look at neurotypical or neurodivergent, like are there new words out there that we're starting to look at things?
I don't know. I don't really know the answer to that.
Okay.
I know there are different programs as far as like helping students learn differently.
Mhm.
Like I mentioned that Orton Gillingham program.
Yep.
I'm not a curriculum guy.
Okay.
Like I don't know.
Sure.
So that's more like interventionists and teachers and stuff. But
Are you specifically, and if you don't want to get into detail, that's fine. Are you specifically doing anything different that you think that I'm going to use the word industry, but like that the group of people in your field are doing?
no, because I think it comes down, like we get it from the top down
Sure.
pretty good.
Okay.
Like,
So it's very structured
I think
for
so.
being a relatively unstructured observation practice.
Yeah.
The tools that you use are pretty structured.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Like everything, like the tests are standardized. There's new tests like every certain amount of years and that kind of stuff. So there is a process. I feel like it's been it's not the best,
Sure.
but it's like the best at what we can do right now.
That's
And-
good.
and, yeah.
That's a good, I mean,
And I think it just
Yeah.
keeps getting better and better. I mean, like compared to when you were younger, I think it's a lot better. I don't think people are like singled out as much. Definitely. There's a co-teaching thing, so there's multiple teachers in the classroom.
that's
so you
what my
don't have
mom
to,
started dealing with.
Yep.
Yeah.
don't have to be pulled out as
much.
much.
Just two teachers.
I definitely think that it's improving and it's less like noticeable. It like I said, you don't stand out as much. Like if
Yeah.
you have dyslexia, you're not gonna stand out in a crowd. You're not gonna be pulled as much. You know.
You know, it's interesting, and were you in the stage of being pulled out or anything, or are you just not? Like, it was,
I
you
was
just kind of had to figure it out or not
Totally
figure it out.
disconnected.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I skipped a lot.
Which is
Right.
pretty remarkable that you're here
Thank you.
from all of that.
It's good for
Like,
someone else to say that, yeah, besides us in this room.
Thank you everyone for listening to Dyslexics Untied. Tune in live every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on BellarmineRadio.com. That is Saturday morning, 11 a.m. on BellarmineRadio.com. Listen to us again on Fridays on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. Also, catch us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And as always, see you next time.